My mother tried to block me at the entrance to the dining room, her body a physical barrier between me and the rest of the Thanksgiving gathering. My sister, Sarah, stood just behind her, a cruel smirk playing on her lips. "Oh my God, Diane, you're so embarrassing," Sarah said, loud enough for everyone nearby to hear. You're a checkbook. That's literally all you are to anyone here. So stop pretending you have a say in my business and just write the check like you always do." Her words landed like a fist to my gut. The air crackled with humiliation. I saw a few people shift uncomfortably, their eyes darting away. Forcing a smile that felt like cracking glass, I took a step back. I didn't say a word. I just turned, walked out of my parents' ostentatious Atlanta mansion, and got into my car. The moment the door clicked shut, sealing me in silence, I pulled out my phone and said into it, "Cancel all payments immediately." Earlier that evening, Sarah had stood center stage in a designer dress, regaling guests about her boutique Newhams, built with my $250,000. When she spotted me, she announced loudly, "Everyone, this is my sister, the financial whiz. So good with numbers, aren't you, Diane?" A backhanded compliment. When she'd first pitched this boutique, I gave her $75,000. She hadn't said thank you, just, "Is that all?" But I remembered the Sarah from before, the one who'd helped me practice for my Series 7 exam, making flashcards at 2 a.m., the one who'd told me I was going to change the world when I got my first analyst position. I kept funding the dream because I wanted that Sarah back. I wanted to believe she still existed under all the designer labels and performative cruelty. That should have been my first warning. The second came 2 months later when I asked to meet her commercial real estate agent. "He's so busy, Diane. I'll have him send the docs directly to you." They never came. The third warning was last month. I'd driven past the address she'd given me for the storefront. It was a payday loan shop. When I asked about it, she laughed it off. "Oh, that deal fell through. We found something better on the west side." I'd wanted so badly to believe her. To believe that maybe, for once, supporting my family would mean something. That maybe they'd finally see me as more than a bank account with legs. Later, Mom thanked Sarah publicly for organizing her surgery funds. I'd paid the $45,000 hospital bill. Sarah made one phone call. I caught Mom's eye across the room. For just a second, I thought I saw something. Guilt, maybe, or recognition. But then she smiled that practiced society smile and turned away. That hurt worse than the lie. It wasn't that she didn't know I'd paid. She knew. She just didn't care enough to correct the record. I cornered her in the kitchen. "Sarah, for the final $50,000, I just need the lease agreement and contractor invoices." Her face hardened. "Are you questioning me?" Then louder for the room, "My sister is trying to sabotage my business." Our parents swooped in. "What is the meaning of this?" Dad demanded. "She's withholding my money," Sarah cried. "I asked for paperwork," I said, voice shaking. That's when my mother stepped in front of me, physically blocking my path to the dining room. And Sarah delivered the final, unforgivable blow, repeating, louder, "You're a checkbook. That's literally all you are." In that moment, something inside me snapped. The years of being treated like a walking ATM, of funding their champagne tastes while they mocked my boring career, of watching them praise my sister for my sacrifices, it all came to a head. The checkbook was all they saw. Fine. Then the checkbook would be my weapon. "Confirming, Miss Bassett, the final $50,000 payment will not be processed," my banker said. Sarah's text dinged immediately. "Where is my money?" I ignored it. My hand shook, not from fear, but from the electrifying hum of a decision finally made. My next call was to the one person who would understand, Georgina, my sister-in-law. She was married to Sarah's husband's brother and had a front row seat to my sister's extravagant lifestyle. "Georgina, it's Diane," I said, pulling onto a quiet side street. I did it. I cut her off. There was a long sigh on the other end of the line, heavy with relief. "Finally," Georgina said, her voice filled with empathy. "I'm so sorry it came to this, Diane, but she gave you no choice. What was it this time?" "The usual," I replied, a bitter laugh escaping my lips. "She and my parents publicly humiliated me for daring to ask for the storefront lease agreement before sending the last 50 grand. Diane, when you asked for the lease agreement, did you ever check if the LLC was actually registered?" My stomach throbbed. I pulled over. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying I looked it up after my brother-in-law mentioned something last week. The Newham Enterprises LLC? It exists. It's registered to Sarah, but there's no business license, no commercial lease filings, no vendor contracts, nothing." My hands went cold on the steering wheel. I'd been so focused on family dynamics that I'd skipped the basic due diligence I do for any client. I need to see her spending. "That's the thing," Georgina said quietly. "My brother-in-law finally told my husband everything last week. The guilt was eating him alive. Your $200,000? Milan. Handbags. Hotels. There's even a private Instagram where Diane, she's been laughing about it, calling it her idiot sister fund. Dad's text, 'You have 1 hour to fix this, or you're out of this family for good.' The threat felt laughably empty. A cold, diamond-hard resolve settled in my chest. This was no longer just about family drama. This was fraud. "The private account," I said, my voice hollow. "Can you get me screenshots? I need evidence." "I've been documenting it for weeks," Georgina replied. "My husband and I knew this was coming. I'm sending you everything right now. Photos, videos, captions. She posted a video 3 days ago from the Ritz in Milan. She's literally on camera talking about the scam, Diane. She thought it was private, just her and 12 of her closest socialite friends." My phone vibrated continuously as the files came through. Photo after photo, video after video, a documented trail of my money funding her luxury lifestyle while she mocked me to her inner circle. I looked at the pathetic, threatening text from my father one last time before deleting it. They thought I was a nincompoop with a checkbook. They're about to find out what happens when the checkbook fights back. 20 minutes later, I walked back in. They were huddled like vultures. Father, mother, Sarah. "You will reinstate that transfer and apologize right now," Dad bellowed. "Apologize for what?" I pulled out my tablet, the one I'd spent the last 20 minutes in my car loading with screenshots and videos. I'd already connected to their home Wi-Fi. My parents never changed the password. One tap and the display mirrored to their TV, something I'd done 100 times for family photos slideshows. The first image filled the screen. Sarah, in first class, champagne in hand, geotagged Milan. The next, 5 designer handbags spread across a hotel bed. The caption, "Retail therapy courtesy of my idiot sister's investment fund." The room gasped. "This is where the boutique money went," I said. Sarah went white. "Those are fake." I swiped again. A video played. Sarah, poolside. "My boring sister just keeps wiring money, no questions asked. The boutique is the best idea I've ever had. All the perks, none of the work." Dead silence. Guests stared, phones raised. I could hear the grandfather clock ticking in the hallway. Someone's wine glass trembled, spilling red drops onto the white carpet. I turned to Sarah. "The final payment is canceled. My legal team will contact you on Monday about wire fraud," I said. Sarah sobbed. "Diane, you can't." "And Mom, Dad, your $10,000 monthly allowance also canceled." Mom staggered. "The mortgage will be ruined." I said, "You should have thought of that before you reduced me to a checkbook." Sarah lunged, screaming. 2 uncles blocked her. I looked at them, my sister exposed, my parents facing ruin, people who only valued me for what I could provide. "You wanted the checkbook? It's now closed. Get a job." I walked out for the last time, feeling only liberation. That was what I told myself, anyway. The truth was more complicated. In the car, my hand shook so badly I couldn't get the key in the ignition. Georgina gently took them from me and drove. I didn't cry. I wanted to, but the tears wouldn't come. Just this hollow, aching space where my family used to be. Even a terrible family is still your family, until it isn't. In Georgina's car, the adrenaline faded into calm. At my downtown condo, she asked, "Regret anything?" I thought about the years of being used and mocked. Not a single thing. 3 months later, I close the biggest deal in our firm's history. The promotion I delayed, worried it would make my family demand more, was finally mine. Mom sent tearful voicemails. Dad sent one email ordering me to fix the mess. I blocked them both. Georgina texted, "They sold the house at half price. Dad's unemployed. Sarah's husband left. She's in a rental working in customer service. All her friends ghosted her." I felt no pity, only justice. That evening on my balcony, my phone buzzed, a notification from my attorney. The civil suit was moving forward. Sarah's lawyer had tried to argue family gift, but couldn't explain the LLC or the fraudulent business plan. Recovery would take years, and I'd likely only see pennies on the dollar, but that wasn't the point anymore. Georgina poured 2 glasses of wine. "You doing okay? Really?" I looked out at the Atlanta skyline, the city I'd built a career in, funded a family in, and finally learned to live in for myself. "Ask me in a year," I said honestly. But for the first time in a decade, nobody's waiting for me to open my wallet. My boring life is finally just mine. And that feels sad and free at the same time. She clinked her glass against mine. "To sad and free, then." "To sad and free," I echoed. It wasn't the ending I'd wanted, but it was the one I deserved.